How's it going, everybody? Hope you're having a great weekend. We are here to recap the Central Washington Seattle Pacific game, which happened on Friday. When the Wildcats lost, as you can tell by the title of the video, I decided to wait until the tournament was over just to kind of uh, recap the entire Great Northwest Athletic Conference tournament. Unlike last year when I just stopped after Central got out. Um, let's start with the game that was in progress the last time we talked, and that was the game between Montana State Billings and Alaska Fairbanks. Um, Alaska Fairbanks took down the defending tournament champions, uh, Yellow Jackets, 87-73. So, first time in 2 years that MSU Billings lost a game in the tournament. So round two consisted of the game, of course, between Central and SPU, and Alaska Fairbanks against Western Washington. Those were the two semifinal games that took place on Friday. So let's talk a little bit about the SPU and Central Washington game. SPU ended up winning by a score of 85-78. This game was incredibly close. It was quite entertaining. And just when you thought Seattle Pacific was going to pull away, Central Washington would creep back up and make it a one possession or two possession game. For the most part, it was a 1-2 possession game throughout the entire regulation play, and two keys just. And I saw this comparison between this game and the game against Alaska Anchorage. Central just could not get over the hump. I don't know what it is. They played incredibly well from beginning to end, but and they eventually took the lead midway through the second half, but they just couldn't get those last few strings and few stretches of points to pull away from the victory. SPU finally got their string at about the last minute mark of each half. Seattle Pacific led by 7 at the half and ended up holding on to that 7 point lead as there were fouls at the last 2 minutes of play, which extended the lead. Um, Largest lead by Central was 3 points, as I said, midway through the second half at the 10:44 mark, and the largest lead by SPU was 9. So really, really well fought game. Another key was just Central could not stop SPU's post game. They just couldn't do it. I think once they were focusing a lot they tried playing in the zone defense, which was good, but just for some odd reason, SPU just had a lot of depth in the post. And I bring that up because SPU had a person that we didn't talk about in our preview by the name of Corey Hudson, and he only played 18 minutes in this game, and it was all in the second half. But he had an outrageous second half. He got 10 points, had 9 rebounds. He shot 50% from the free throw line, and when all of the other top scorers, which we'll go over for the Falcons, were not scoring, he was the one that was really making up the difference. Central was led by junior Mark McLaughlin again, 25 points. I talked a little bit about how they needed to spread the ball around, and it looked like Central was doing that. Was attempting of doing that because they had McLaughlin and 3 others compared to 2 other players finishing in double figures in points. Jordan Kobe finished with 14, Dom Williams with 12, and Kevin Davis with 10 points. Your rebound leader was Davis with 7, and also Nate Walker had 5 rebounds as well. Nate Walker also had 8 points, so he almost got in double digits as well. Your assists were Dom Williams. He was the one that was passing the ball around, making some plays. For the Falcons, kind of a fun fact. I forgot the relation, how he is related to this particular player. But Riley Stockton is related to John Stockton of former NBA great John Stockton, the Utah Jazz player. Although I can't remember if it's a nephew or if it's a son, or I don't think it's his son because his son plays for Gonzaga. But kind of a fun fact there. Speaking of Stockton, he led the Falcons with 18 points, Patrick Simon put up 17. Joby Wall, who also had some good post game, good game in the post as well, 15. And then we had two players who just caught the double-digit mark in points with Andy Pauling and Corey Hudson. Each had 10 points. The rebound leaders were Riley Stockton with 8 and Patrick Simon for the Falcons. So Central Washington's this was a fun little tournament. I wasn't really expecting too much from the basketball team this year, but they were able to make things a little interesting and pulled an upset. I think definitely if Seattle Pacific had a choice, they probably would rather play Central Washington than Alaska Anchorage. So that was fun, but just two very, very good, entertaining games. Two different kinds of games. One being really close, one being a dramatic comeback. So it was fun. It kind of came out of nowhere. To recap the other game that took place, the semifinals, the Western Washington took down Alaska Fairbanks pretty solidly, 61-43. And so yesterday, on Saturday, March 9th, Seattle Pacific was down by a score of 70-69 with one possession to go, and they scored a three-pointer to beat the Western Washington Vikings by a score of 72-70. So Seattle Pacific wins the tournament and will go to the Division II regional round. Western is likely to go because those two teams are both ranked in the top 5, but SBU wins the tournament and gets that automatic berth. So there's your Central coverage for you. I'm hoping that maybe we can talk some softball or baseball, but until then, if that does not happen, we will talk some football coming up next year. Go Cats! You played well. Just couldn't quite get over the hump. Couldn't quite get there. Took the lead, just couldn't put them away. But hats off to SPU. It was a fair game. Unlike last year when there was a little bit of controversy with the foul call. Game was clean and each team played well. So that will do it for Central. We'll talk to you all later. Follow me on Facebook, MySpace, and Twitter. And if you're watching this on either Facebook or MySpace, check out my sports blog, The Pug's Thoughts in the Doghouse. Thanks for watching.